Alright, Bills Mafia. If you watched the debut of Hard Knocks last night, you probably felt a mix of excitement, pride, and maybe just a little bit of nervous energy buzzing through your body. Because this wasn't just any episode. This was the Buffalo Bills front and center, finally taking the spotlight in a series that's known for drama, emotion, and peeling back the curtain on the NFL's most compelling stories. And let me tell you, for better or worse, this premiere felt different all day long. The anticipation was real. You could feel it building. Bills fans everywhere waiting to see how their team, their players, their locker room would be portrayed on national TV. And when the opening credits rolled, I'll be honest, I got a little anxious. Not because I didn't trust the team, not because I feared controversy, but because Hard Knocks has a way of making even the smallest storylines feel gigantic, of turning practice field drama into national headlines. But this time was wholesome, light, almost gentle. Was like watching a love letter to Bills culture. From the fan base to the coaching staff to the locker room dynamic, everything was painted in this very warm and intimate light. If you're a longtime viewer of Hard Knocks, you probably noticed how little tension there was. No shouting matches, no position battles boiling over, no coach-player meltdowns. Instead, we saw smiles, we saw community, we saw relationships that felt real, and that's what hit the hardest. It wasn't about theatrics this time. It was about connection. Let's start with Josh Allen. I mean, how can you not? The guy radiates leadership and charisma, but in a way that feels unforced, natural. When he walks into a room or steps onto the field, it's clear this is his team. But what I loved about this episode is how they showed why he's more than just a quarterback. You saw the way he interacts with teammates, with staff, even with kids in the crowd. You saw how present he is. And the cameras didn't have to manufacture that. It just came through. It's no mystery anymore why Buffalo is all in on number 17. But for me, the star of this premiere wasn't Josh. It was Tre'Davious White. Man, what a presence. His personality just lit up the screen. That segment with Dion Dawkins' kids, that was pure gold. You saw the way they connected with him. Not as some larger-than-life athlete, but like a big brother or an uncle. Figure who's been in their lives for years. It was heartwarming in the most unexpected way. That moment spoke volumes about who Trey is off the field, and it gave you this deeper appreciation for the bonds that exist within the Bills family. Not just the team, but their actual families. Then, we saw him out in Pittsburgh Dairy, grinding on his own, running hills with that laser focus in his eyes. You get the sense that Trey is on a mission this year. Like he's carrying the weight of the last few seasons and channeling it into something bigger. That scene out in the wilderness, him training solo after practice, that's the kind of moment that sticks with you. It doesn't scream drama, but it screams hunger, passion. And I think a lot of fans will walk away from that episode rooting for Trey even harder than before. And speaking of personalities, Dion Dawkins. We all knew he had a vibe to him, but this show elevated it to a whole other level. That drifting scene, man, that was wild. You could see the joy in his face, like a kid playing with his favorite toy. But let's be real, if you're like me, you were also screaming at the screen. Please don't get hurt doing this. I get that it's a hobby, I get that it's therapeutic, but we need that guy on the field, not in a drifting accident. Still, that peek into his personal life was fascinating. You saw him embrace the chaos of fatherhood, the fun in his household, and the genuine love he has for being a dad. That duality, a wild side, and the family man, that's what makes Dion such a unique part of this locker room. Then came AJ Epineza. I mean, come on. Wrangling pythons in the Everglades. That was unexpected. That's not your average off-season activity, but somehow it made perfect sense for him. It was raw, rugged, and it showed another layer of who he is away from football. That python hunting. Dog! That whole segment felt like something out of a Nat Geo special, but it worked. It gave the show variety. And it reminded us that these guys, despite all the fame and pressure, still live lives filled with weird hobbies and unique passions. One of the most surprising parts of the episode, the deep dive into the new stadium. Now look, we've heard for months about how this new stadium is going to change the game, literally. But hearing Terry Pegula explain the science behind the wind mitigation design, that was next level. I don't know how you engineer a stadium to confuse the wind, but apparently they figured it out. The idea that it could be gusting outside and calm inside is wild. It almost feels like they've weaponized the weather in Buffalo's favor, and I'm all for it. Plus, everyone keeps talking about how vertical the layout is going to be. No more gentle inclines. We're going up, straight up. And if that creates a louder, more intimidating atmosphere for visiting teams, that's a huge win. I can't wait to see what that energy feels like during a primetime playoff game in December. Now, let me shift gears for a second. Because while there was so much good energy in this episode, there were also some things that felt missing, namely James Cook. If you are watching closely, you probably noticed how little, if anything, we got about the guy. There was more screen time for Thurman Thomas than for the current #1 running back. And that's no knock on Thurman. Legend, icon, Bills royalty, but it raises eyebrows. We've been hearing all offseason about the Cook contract situation, the holding, the negotiations, the importance of this year for him. And yet, crickets. You have to assume that was intentional. Maybe they're saving it for episode 2, or maybe they didn't want to shine a spotlight on negotiations that are still playing out. But make no mistake, that silence was loud. And let's be clear, the James Cook story matters, especially now with the news about Kyren Williams signing that extension with the Rams. Williams, who came from the same draft class as Cook, just locked in a 3-year deal worth about $11 million per year. That's significant. Because when you line up the numbers, we're going to break them down in detail later. Kyren Williams has been on the field more, touched the ball more, scored more touchdowns, and he's still younger than James Cook. And he just set a benchmark. So if you're James Cook's camp and you're asking for Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry money, you might need to take a deep breath and reevaluate. So let's dive deeper into this James Cook situation, because whether or not Hard Knocks gave it airtime, this storyline could define a huge part of the Bills' 2025 campaign. Cook's holding, not a full-on holdout, but still a visible absence from full participation, is more than just a business tactic. It's a direct challenge to how Buffalo values running backs and their offensive identity. And if you're a Bills fan who's been paying attention over the last few seasons, you already know. This front office doesn't hand out running back contracts easily. Let's go back to the numbers, because at the end of the day, that's what this all boils down to. James Cook is coming off a season where he was undeniably explosive. You saw the home run ability, you saw the acceleration, but he still wasn't a full workload back. In fact, over the last 2 years, his snap share hovered around 50%, sometimes dipping under that. Compare that to someone like Kyren Williams, who was on the field for over 80% of the Rams' snaps last season. That's not a small gap. That's a massive chasm when you're negotiating value. Then there's touches. Cook had solid volume, but again, not elite. Kyren Williams, he eclipsed Cook by over 100 touches in 2024. That means more carries, more catches, more blocking snaps, more everything. And if you're the Bills front office looking to assign a dollar figure to Cook, you're not just looking at highlights. You're looking at reliability, durability, and versatility. Kyren isn't as flashy as Cook, but he does everything. He's one of the best pass blocking backs in the entire league, and that's why he's on the field for critical third downs and 2-minute situations. So when the Rams locked him in at around $11 million per year, fully guaranteed, that sent shockwaves through the running back market, especially in Buffalo. Because that number isn't outrageous. It's not disrespectful. It's actually pretty fair for young, productive back in today's NFL, where running back value has dipped significantly across the board. And now, Cook and his agents are staring down the barrel of a market that just reestablished itself. Well, without them, here's the thing. Cook brings elite burst. He brings that ability to turn a simple outside zone into a 50-yard gain. He's a weapon in space, a nightmare for linebackers in coverage, but he's not a bell cow, at least not yet. And in this system where Josh Allen is the engine and where offensive touches are distributed among Stephon Diggs, at least before he was traded, Dalton Kincaid and Khalil Shakir, not to mention the rotating pieces in the backfield, Cook is valuable but not irreplaceable. And that's the sticking point. If you're asking for top 5 running back money, you've got to bring a top 5 running back profile. not just on highlight reels, but in snap counts, in blocking, in red zone reliability. And the fact is, Cook hasn't done that yet. Could he? Sure, he's got the talent. But to get that next level of respect, on that next level of paycheck, he might need to show it over a full season first. That's where Kieran Williams has the edge. And that's why this deal in Los Angeles might be the exact contract the Bills offer Cook in the coming weeks. So, what happens now? Well, reports suggest that both sides, Cook's camp and the Bills, aren't too far apart. And that's telling, because if the gap was massive, you'd hear a lot more noise. Instead, this feels like a negotiation waiting for the right moment. A stalemate built more on timing than tension. And it's possible Cook's hold-in is more symbolic than strategic. It's a way to apply gentle pressure without burning bridges. Because let's be real, he's not going to sit out real games. Not with fines, not with his reputation on the line, and not with the opportunity he has in front of him this year. Because make no mistake, James Cook has the chance to be the guy this season. With a new offensive scheme under Joe Brady and a wide receiver room that's shifting dramatically, there's going to be a heavier emphasis on running back involvement, especially in the passing game, and that's Cook's bread and butter. If he shows up, balls out, and puts together a full season where he's not just explosive, but also reliable and complete, the money will come, either from Buffalo or someone else next offseason. But let's go back to the broader picture for a moment. Because the Cook situation is part of a bigger conversation. What exactly is the identity of this Bills offense? Moving forward, with Stephon Diggs gone in the wide receiver room in transition, Buffalo is entering 2025 with more questions than answers. And that brings us to a fascinating discussion around Keon Coleman, the rookie wideout who's already turning heads, and how he fits into the offensive puzzle. There's been a lot of chatter about whether Coleman should be used in a slot, especially early in the season. The thinking goes like this. He's not an elite route runner yet, so putting him inside where he can attack space and use two-way goes might make things easier for him. But here's the problem, that move doesn't help the offense. It might help him, sure, but the Bills don't need him to be comfortable. They need him to be impactful, and that means lining him up outside. The Bills need Coleman to win on the perimeter. That's where they've lost key production with Diggs and Gabe Davis gone. That's where the offense needs someone to stretch the field vertically and open up the middle for Kincaid and Shakir. Moving Coleman inside is a short-term band-aid that delays his development as an outside threat. And it doesn't solve the problem this offense actually has. Then there's Khalil Shakir, the guy who quietly became the glue of the passing game last year. When he was off the field, especially during those rough stretches in weeks 4 and 5, the offense sputtered. When he came back healthy, everything clicked again. He's that steady, reliable presence in the slot that lets the rest of the scheme breathe. So the idea that Shakir might somehow be blocking Coleman or Kincaid from reaching their potential, that doesn't hold up. He's not in the way. He's part of the foundation. And Dalton Kincaid? He's too versatile for this argument to even matter. The guy can line up in line, in the slot, out wide. He's going to get his targets no matter what. This coaching staff knows what they have in him. And once the season starts rolling, you're going to see plenty of packages where Shakir, Kincaid, and Coleman are all on the field together, each in spots that maximize their strengths. It's not about sacrificing one for the other. It's about creating a puzzle where each piece complements the next. Before we dive back in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest Buffalo Bills updates straight to your screen. And hey, don't hold back. Let us know your thoughts on today's news down in the comments. In a surprising turn of events that has set the sports world abuzz, the Buffalo Bills are reportedly making waves with a potential move that few saw coming. According to whispers circling NFL insiders, the Bills may be on the verge of acquiring Mexican offensive lineman Isaac Alarcón from the San Francisco 49ers. Though no official statement has been released, sources close to the organization hint at advanced negotiations already in motion. This potential transfer has sparked a whirlwind of speculation among fans and analysts alike, raising eyebrows. Across the league, Alarcón, originally part of the NFL's International Player Pathway program, has long been seen as a project with significant upside. If this rumor proves true, the Bills could be positioning themselves to add a physically Imposing lineman with international appeal and untapped potential. Some suggest this move is part of a broader strategy by Buffalo to diversify its roster and build depth in the trenches. Whether or not a final deal is imminent remains uncertain, but the possibility alone is enough to stir curiosity. As anticipation builds, many are left wondering whether this is a genuine attempt at roster development or merely a calculated media play to test the waters and fan expectations. While Isaac ALARCÓN has yet to start a regular season NFL game, his presence has not gone unnoticed. Standing at 6'6" and weighing over 320 pounds, his physical attributes alone command attention. Having spent the past seasons developing on the 49ers practice squad, ALARCÓN has earned a reputation for discipline, work ethic, and a team first mentality. The Buffalo Bills, known for identifying and cultivating under-the-radar talent, could be eyeing ALARCÓN as a long-term investment. Multiple unnamed team insiders reportedly believe he could transition into a reliable backup and potentially even a starter with the right coaching and system fit. The Bills' offensive line has struggled with injuries and inconsistency in recent seasons, so injecting fresh talent with upside seems like a plausible direction. There are murmurs suggesting head coach Sean McDermott sees in ALARCÓN the kind of raw potential that could be molded into something special. Interestingly, some fans are already reacting to the buzz on social media, expressing cautious optimism about what ALARCÓN could bring to the team. Though he remains largely untested at the professional level, the idea of him suiting up in blue and red is gaining traction. Time will tell whether this rumor materializes or fades. Another layer to this rumor involves the Bills' increasingly international footprint. With the NFL actively expanding its global reach, a signing like ALARCÓN's would be more than just a football decision. It would be a cultural statement. The Mexican offensive lineman has become a symbol of Latin American presence in American football, and a move to Buffalo could further bridge fan bases between Mexico and the U.S. Some insiders suggest this could even be a marketing strategy by the Bills to tap into a growing international audience, particularly considering the NFL's increasing number of games in Mexico City. If true, this move might help the franchise expand its fan base in Spanish-speaking markets and add diversity to its locker room. ALARCÓN has already drawn significant attention from Mexican media, and his potential transfer could ignite unprecedented levels of engagement from that region. Analysts note that Buffalo could become one of the few franchises making deliberate moves with both athletic and global branding implications. While it's unclear whether these rumors hold water or are merely wishful thinking from hopeful observers, the story continues to evolve. The Bills front office has declined to comment, which only adds more fuel to the speculative fire growing around this potential deal. As the buzz surrounding ALARCÓN continues to grow, questions also emerge regarding how the 49ers view his future. Though he has been developing steadily within the San Francisco system, it's possible that he sees a clearer path to playing time with the Bills. Sources close to the player suggest ALARCÓN is eager for an opportunity to showcase his skills at the NFL level and may view a change of scenery as a critical step forward. The 49ers, meanwhile, are deep in offensive line talent, which could make parting ways with ALARCÓN a low-risk decision from their perspective. But others argue that releasing or trading him now could backfire if he blossoms into a dependable asset elsewhere. Could 49ers be underestimating his value? Or are the Bills simply seeing potential where others see a practice squad player? In any case, the trade, if it happens, may reveal contrasting philosophies between franchises. ALARCÓN's development arc, combined with his unique international profile, makes him a fascinating player to watch. The idea that Buffalo could become the landing spot for a promising, internationally known talent is enough to generate real excitement, even if, for now, it all remains in the realm of speculation and whispered conversations behind closed doors. Even with all the uncertainty, what's undeniable is the intrigue this rumor has created. In a league where trades and roster moves are often leaked days in advance, this story's sudden emergence has caught many off guard. The idea of Isaac ALARCÓN becoming a Buffalo Bill feels both unexpected and oddly plausible. There's a sense that something is shifting, whether it's a change in how teams approach international talent or simply a move to bolster offensive line depth heading into a new season. For now, fans are left to analyze cryptic social media posts, secondhand reports, and speculative commentary from media personalities. But as training camps ramp up, all eyes will be on Buffalo and San Francisco for any sign of confirmation. Could ALARCÓN be the next unlikely star to rise from obscurity? Could this be the year he finally cracks an active roster and proves his worth on game day? While there's no official confirmation yet, the noise surrounding this potential acquisition continues to grow louder by the day. Whether it's a strategic masterstroke or an overblown rumor, one thing is certain. The name Isaac ALARCÓN is now firmly on the radar of Buffalo Bills fans and the NFL world at large. That's a wrap for now. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of all things Buffalo Bills, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments. See you in the next update.